Back at the North Wilkesboro All-Star Race, NASCAR tested out an option tire for the actual race itself, where we had a softer compound versus our normal tire to see the different fall off, to see how it would impact the race. Well, this will be used in a full-length Cup Series race now at Richmond Raceway. Yes, the NASCAR short track package has struggled. In the next gen era, they made little tweaks to the car, but they have finally decided to do something different with the tires, giving us a soft compound tire in a sense. Let's see what NASCAR had to say. NASCAR officials announced Tuesday that this summer's Cup Series event at Richmond Raceway will have 2 Goodyear tire choices available to teams. The procedural change for the August 11th Cookout 400 at the Virginia Short Track comes after an audition during last month's NASCAR All-Star Race, a non-points event held at North Wilkesboro Speedway. This application will be the first in a points-paying race. Elton Sawyer, NASCAR's Senior Vice President of Competition, said, "The All-Star Race is a great event, obviously by itself, but it gives us opportunities to learn. This past year, it gave us the chance to try something with tires, and we're working really hard in NASCAR as well as the folks at the R&D Center to improve the short track package. So the All-Star Race at North Wilkesboro gave us the opportunity to introduce the option tire, something we'd never done, to my knowledge, in the history of our sport, to have different compounds during an event." So essentially what this is going to be is you're going to have your normal NASCAR Goodyear standard compound of tire. That will be the yellow marked tire. So that's your normal, let's call it the hard compound. The official word is like prime tire. I don't know why they're using words. Just say soft and hard. Like it makes it so much easier when you say the soft compound tire, the red marked tire, or it's like the prime. Sorry, the red is the option tire. So get this in your head. The red tire is the option tire. The yellow traditional normal tire, the harder compound, is the prime. That's my one complaint with this is, can we just call it soft and hard? It would make it much easier rather than using option and prime. Anyways. And then, of course, at Richmond, the short flat ovals, and then also, of course, the road courses, you have your wet weather tires that you can use like we used in the spring, actually, at Richmond. Now, of course, the next question would be availability, because usually NASCAR teams are allowed to have a certain amount of tires during the race weekend. But now that you have an extra option, how does this split up, how many tires you use? So here is what it says. Competition officials indicated teams will be allotted 6 sets of prime tires, which of course is the traditional tire, that is the harder compound, and 2 sets of option tires, or the soft option, at the .07 or the .75 mile track, including 1 prime set carried over from qualifying. They will also have an extended practice session with 1 set of each tire available to use during the 45-minute stint. The availability of just 2 sets of option tires over the course of 400 laps is expected to place a premium on the strategy element for when teams might opt to deploy them. So I'm trying to think. It depends on how much these tires wear, obviously. North Wilkesboro, we didn't see that much wear, but, it was a new surface, and it was cold, and it was a night race. It was a short race, so we didn't really get to see the difference in the tires. We saw some of those guys stick on those soft compound tires and really not do much with them. So my hope, it's a night race again at Richmond, but it is the summer. It'll be hotter. So hopefully that allows the tires to wear more. But the question would be, if there is a significant difference in wear, when would you use those soft tires? Obviously, if you come down pit road late in the race, let's say there's a caution with less than 10 to go, yeah, you're putting on those soft compound tires. But if it's the middle of the race, when do you put them on? Now, we've seen at Richmond before, when it's a normal Richmond race, we see a lot of strategy element. We see a lot of long green flag runs. So my thought here is, sometimes we see the team split the stage. We see them do a 1-stop or a 2-stop. You extend as long as you can to try to make it and essentially just do 1 stop, or you do 2 short stints and you do a 2-stop. So I'm thinking maybe if the tire can go for a decent amount of time, like 50 laps or so, then maybe you could use one of those to end the stage. And then as soon as the stage is ending, you know, that's when you see the most fall off. But I applaud NASCAR. I applaud Goodyear for doing something different. The short tracks have not been good in this next gen era. So I applaud that they are doing a drastic change here, that Goodyear has been studying, doing something different, working on the tire that we'll wear. Obviously, that Bristol race in the spring was great when those tires were just absolutely being eaten. So I would love to see that happen again. Obviously, we don't want tires blowing every 5 laps. We don't want, you know, blowouts in general. But if they're just wearing, they're fading, it forces the drivers to back off the pace essentially and conserve their tires, make their tires live as long as they can. Going slower is faster in a sense, and that's kind of fun if you ask me. So I'm hoping this works. I'm hoping these tires are able to wear, able to do something different. But if this doesn't work, then you've got to add power to the car, if you ask me. It seems that NASCAR is using every avenue except for adding horsepower. They've done aero changes. They've changed the spoiler. They've made changes to the rear diffuser. They've made I swear they made changes to the splitter at one point. But they made all these changes, and now they're going to the tire. But crew chiefs, drivers, they've talked about how the options in terms of making the short track racing better is either adding power or changing the tire, making the tire wear out more. This new tire in the next-gen car, it's bigger, it's wider, there's more grip, there's more tire to be used, and that's why we don't see a lot of tire wear. I mean, all the short tracks in this era have not been good, so. And as for beyond Richmond, NASCAR has not committed to making this a full-time short track thing because the next short tracks are all in the playoffs. You got Bristol as an elimination race, you got Martinsville as an elimination race, and then, of course, Phoenix is the championship. So NASCAR has not committed yet to saying, all right, yeah, we're going to do this at all the short tracks. They tested it at North Wilkesboro. They liked what they saw. We had one more regular season race on the short track, and they said, let's do it for a full-length race. And then I'm sure they'll evaluate their options because obviously they don't want to commit to it. And then if all the tires, the soft compound tires, are blowing out at Richmond after 5 laps, they don't want to carry that into the playoffs where there's championship implications. So that's it on the compound of tires. You got your red option tires, you got your yellow marked prime tires. I just wish they'd call them soft and hard, soft and medium, something like that. But other than that, I don't have any complaints about this. Once again, I applaud NASCAR. I applaud Goodyear. This is a great decision to try to improve the short track racing. Obviously, it'd be a little bit more difficult to do this at an intermediate, but the intermediate racing I have really not a lot of complaints about in this era. So thank you for watching this video. I'm very curious to hear all of your opinions. We got the Brickyard 400 coming back this weekend. Looking forward to talking about it with you all, watching these races this week. So we got that. And then other than that, any breaking news, I'll let you know. And I'll see you in the next video.